This here is my presentation on the Korean wave, global impact of that word. I will be pronouncing it as Hallyu. I ain't Korean. I don't know how to properly pronounce that word. What is my presentation about? I'm going to introduce you to this concept of Hallyu. I'm going to talk about rise of Korean popular culture in global media, the dissemination of South Korean pop culture, and how it has kind of spread about the world and influenced many things. And these are just a few topics I'm going to go over. Now, how does one say Hallyu? That's a good question. Why don't we find out?
You are looking at Julian's pronunciation guide, where we look at how to pronounce better some of the most mispronounced words in the world, like this other curious word. But how do you say what you're looking for today? In Korean pronunciation, Hallyu.
Hallyu. Hallyu.
Hallyu.
How?
Hallyu. In
Hallyu.
English, it's generally referred to more simply as Hallyu. Here are more videos on how to pronounce more confusing words and names too many mispronounced. Like this video if you found it useful. I appreciate your support. I'll see you soon, and thanks for watching.
You pronounce it as croissant. Well, anyways, next slide. There we go. Okay, so historical context, the growth of Hallyu. All right, in the late 1990s, you have rise of K-dramas. For example, this one right here, Winter Sonata. There is an animated version of this, actually, I found out. This is the live-action version. It began airing in the 90s, but it wrapped up in, I think it was 2002? Maybe it was 4. I'm forgetting the exact year. But yeah. Decently popular K-drama back then. Then, in the 2000s, K-pop. It expands across Asia, okay? You have a few different boy bands, okay? Hot, which are these guys back here. I'll show you a clean image here in a second, minus the text. Boa. I'm going to say it, Boa. That's how I'm going to say it. And moving on to the 2010s, you have the global explosion with BTS. These guys back here. Yes, they are doing a speech at the White House. We'll get to that in a second. And also, just because, modern days, it's not just the men, it's the women too. Blackpink, very popular girl band. We'll get to them in a bit later. And then eventually, the growth grows so much that government support for cultural diplomacy. And what does that mean? I wrote it down here. So, today, Hallyu is a key element of South Korea's soft power strategy. Now, what is South Korea's soft power strategy? We'll get into that as well. No, it is nothing to do with the recent coup. I mean, it basically was a coup. It has nothing to do with South Korea's recent coup. All this clearly was not December 3rd, 2024. There's a calendar on the wall there. This is clearly not December 3rd, 2024, okay? So, soft power strategy has nothing to do with the coup. That would be more of a hard power, one-time strategy, okay? This is a soft power strategy. Again, I'll explain that in a bit. But along with this, one of the tactics being used to disseminate the soft power strategy here I should just go on a knee. Why was I standing up and bending down? I don't know. Maybe it looked more menacing to you guys if I just stood there. Menacingly. Get out of there, SpongeBob! One of the methods of disseminating the soft power strategy is, you might not be able to hear that heater just kicked on. Maybe you do, yeah. Is the use of social media. Okay, places like YouTube, Communist Talk, Bookface, places like that, and whatnot, spreading across the world. It first spread to the other Asian countries in the immediate vicinity, particularly Japan, and then went across the world from there. Now, let's break down this cultural phenomenon that has reshaped global pop culture. Because think about it. All of this, which I'll get into a little bit more in the future, y'all probably have heard of them before. I mean, you guys, you've seen all these guys' faces for sure. For sure. He usually has pink hair, but you've definitely seen his face before. But anyways, we'll get into that. I mean, you got all them, tiny, parasitic, little 14-year-old sisters, cough, cough, that are super into some of these guys, some more than others. I know you're watching this right now. Anyways, alright, I've repaired the fourth wall. Okay, we're good now. So now, let's move on to the next slide here. Let's break down some of these elements. Here's the clean shot I was telling you about. Get a look at their faces. All 240p, all 720p. That's probably like, we'll call that 480p. Yeah, there you go. Let's break down some of what I just mentioned here. Let's dive into it. So what is soft power strategy? Okay. In politics, and particularly international politics, soft power is the ability to co-opt rather than coerce, in contrast with hard power. Okay, so hard power would be coercion techniques, forceful takeovers, coups, martial law, stuff like that. Soft power is the exact opposite. Soft power involves shaping the preferences of others through appeal and attraction. Soft power is non-coercive, using culture, political values, and foreign policies to enact change. So essentially, if you don't get the gist of this, basically what it means is, let's say I came into your country and I learned what you value the most. Now I'm going to infuse your values into my, in the case of K-pop, boy bands, my music, and I'm going to essentially give you subliminal messaging, or sometimes just straight up on the nose messaging, within the lyrics of my music. You get more accustomed to the music, you like it more and more, and now you've suddenly started agreeing and liking the values that they're trying to promote. Source. That's where I got the definition. So, source. So, hopefully that explains soft power. Again, hard power. Stuff like presidential coups. That's hard power. Soft power. Stockholm Syndrome. Brainwashing. Stuff like that. You get the idea. Okay, next slide. So this here is the K wave. That's just a joke. This is the K wave. Fun fact, when I was researching the K wave, I found this. Apparently K wave is an actual scientific term. It refers to, I'm assuming that's Russian, but conjunctive wave. This graph. Fun fact. Okay, so this is the Hallyu growth trend. Okay, so number of estimated fans. Obviously, this is Hallyu specifically, this chart, but you can basically surmise this to be fans of Korean culture around the world. So the millions. Think about it. There's about 8 billion people on Earth. So how many of those 8 billion are fans of South Korean culture? Well, according to this graph, as of 2014, only 31 million. But remember, around this time was when bands like BTS and Blackpink became big. Well, by 2022, so 2 years ago, not 2024, I couldn't find a 2024 graph, so this is what you get. By 2022, it rose by a large margin. Alexa, 31 times 5.
31 times 5 is 155.
So over 5 times of an increase of fans worldwide. 178 million as of 2022. Still not exactly a full eighth. Kind of far from it. But hey, we take what we can get. Again, source right here. And then, of course, the number of communities worldwide. So, you got that number there, and then 2022. There's a slight dip here. This is called the pandemic. A lot of graphs have abnormalities during this time period right here. So don't worry about that. But 1684, its peak, 1751. So these numbers don't have to follow this kind of growth right here, but you can see it does raise up at around the same time and then dip a little bit. The consolidation of, fan groups and funds and donations, but everybody's chronically online during this time period. So, you got that. But of course, next slide. Next slide. Okay, so, actually no, back. I was going to say something on this slide. It's the same slide again, but I duplicated it because I was going to say something. All right, so we're going to circle back now to some examples of government support for cultural diplomacy. Remember what I said earlier about basically coming into a country and co-opting your art and values into their own to disseminate the information and what they want to do. Now, what is one of the biggest worldwide stages you can do that? Again, key phrase, one of. Because it's debatable which one would be the biggest. Would it be the World Cup? Would it be the Olympics? Would it be the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight? Who knows? So, there's multiple avenues, okay? You got multiple. These guys here, BTS, they were on a tear at one point before they had to follow Korean law and go into the military. Basically, they pulled an Elvis Presley, except they were required to do it by law this time. So they were going to places like the White House, doing speeches. He's basically their spokesperson, self-admission, according to him. But one of the biggest stages that they went to was the United Nations General Assembly. They performed in front of countries that don't exactly like South Korea, but might be part of the United Nations. China, being an example. India, I could go on, of course. But anyways, yeah, just to give a couple examples. And they did that tactic that I just said. So we're going to watch this real quick. This is just like 3 minutes long, real quick. And I'll get out of the way here, just so that you can see the example.
When I sense like a drum, feeling louder with the way you got it. When it all seems like it's wrong, say louder out the joy, put a feeling which is getting started. And the rhythm's got you falling behind. Just dream about that moment when you look yourself right in the eye.
That's right, you don't need permission to dance, okay? So there's, oh, I lied, it was 3 minutes 43 seconds. I said about 3 minutes, but yeah. Anyways, so that's just one example of their soft power strategy. Oh wait, hold on. Here. I gotta click on this. Alright. Here's the thing. Let's be honest. You've now appealed to the government, and the UN is probably the biggest stage to do that. But let's be honest here. Who pays attention as a normal citizen to what the heck the UN is doing? Nobody. So if you want an effective soft power strategy, what do you have to do? You have to reach the children. Okay, you gotta reach the citizens. Now what's the best way to do that? Take the movie that everybody's gonna see that year and make a tie-in song that plays at some point during the movie. Now you got the 14-year-old K-pop stands, the army people, I don't know. I'm not cultured in the ways. I know somebody that's currently watching this that's definitely gonna text me and culture me after this. Another fourth wall break. So you basically have to find what they're watching, what they're doing, and co-opt that. Now, 2024, what was the biggest movie of the year? Deadpool and Wolverine. Here we go. You make a music video and a tie-in song that plays during the movie using the biggest movie of the year, using one of the biggest K-pop bands in the business right now. Because again, BTS is currently, kind of going through the thick of it with the military. Not the KSI thick of it, but the military thick of it. I think some of them have started to finish their service. I don't know about all of them. I don't keep up. I don't keep up with that. Anyways, so we're just going to show this real quick. This is a couple minutes long, just to give you another example of the non-governmental way of doing it. And again, you got the UN bit that was done. They filmed the music video in an empty theater, but there are other videos you can find of them actually performing in front of people, in front of the congregation and whatnot. So this is in front of the world.
It's recommended to stay home.
Why didn't you mention it was a
What the hell's going on? What? So,
I was in there for 30 minutes. What? No.
no.
The one thing. A toilet? Yes. A sink? No. Toilet paper. Good evening. And thank you for watching CCV News. I'm Ryan Reynolds. We have breaking news.
But this life is regular. 승리를 너무 과시까지 빼불러. 상태도 할 필요한 뭐 느낌을 돌려. 우리 눈으로 나머지 전부 new anthem. 안 되는 것도 해야 do it. 저 불안만 trigger I got that. I'ma pop, take a shot, take it down my clothes and my one night stand down.
Filling in my truck, yeah, you want that ride? Oh, hit you like a truck, I'ma make you fly.
Oh no, I'm not a good dancer. I know there's some person. I know
That's
there's.
it for us tonight at CCV News. Join us next. How long have you guys been sitting there?
For a while. Pretty long.
Yeah. Right. Any chance that you're, looking for an older, less agile member? Maybe?
No.
Great. Yeah, and then,
Yeah, there's definitely, well, you can see the message that they have there. Actually, you know what? Because that is a thing that they'll do sometimes. And by they, I mean the royal they. Not just this band in particular. Pause. Is they'll have little messages here. You know, stray kids everywhere, all around the world. You make stray kids stay. Knowing what I told you earlier, read this image with the new context in mind. Or read this statement with the new context in mind, okay? There's definitely one person watching this video right now that's cringing at every statement I make. Probably cringing at my face too, honestly, you know. Anyways, next slide. Let's talk about some of the key elements of Hallyu a little bit more in depth, shall we? So, first you got K-dramas. Squid Game Season 2 just came out, so I had to include Squid Game. I have not seen Season 2 yet. At least I think it just dropped, right? I don't remember the exact date. But anyways, if it hasn't, then it's definitely dropping soon. Saw Season 1? Great. Have not seen Season 2 yet. As of the recording of this. But you have K-dramas, represented there by Squid Game. Known for emotional storytelling and high production values. Dramas like Squid Game, or like what you saw earlier with Winter Sonata, have captivated audiences worldwide. I mean, this is one of the biggest K-dramas ever. And the whole plot of the show is a critique on the capitalism of Korean society and how the big name companies are basically running society and ruining the world. Now, this is social commentary if I've ever seen it before. And also there's murder, and but anyways, so stuff like that, captivating audiences worldwide. You also have K-pop groups, BTS, which I showed you earlier, Blackpink right here. I mean, honestly, it probably should be pink black, right? Because this is all pink, very little black. So I cherry picked an image, and then they basically redefined the global music scene with their music, choreography, and fan engagement. With that graph I saw, I showed you earlier. Geez, words can be hard sometimes. Obviously, you saw in those two music videos a lot of dance choreography involved. Michael Jackson probably would be all over this if he was still around with us. Rest in peace. And then also, finally, for the people that maybe just aren't interested in shows or movies or music, basically they're uncultured swines, maybe they're interested in the fashion industry through various trends that might be tried to disseminate amongst the products being filtered throughout the world, ad campaigns, celebrity tie-ins, payments like that, etc., and whatnot. Basically, they're trying to influence the world subtly, co-opting it. That is kind of some of the key avenues that Hallyu is kind of using to disseminate their information. And this right here is an island actually owned by Korea here, and so I included it as a nice backdrop. So there you go. Let's see, how are we doing on time, by the way? Just double checking. Oh, we got like 7 minutes left on my recording thing here before it runs out. Okay. So, what is one of the things about fashion, okay? Retro. Retro is in. Retro, what do the kids, do they say retrograde in Mercury? I don't know. I'm not kidding anymore. But retro is in, okay? You take your traditional stuff, you incorporate it with your modern stuff, okay? So you have traditional, modern, okay? Fusion of traditional Korean values with modern global influences. Accessible yet distinct content. This is all stuff that you could buy online nowadays. Very high reproduction. And it's infused with universal themes of Korean cultural elements. I mean, there you go. Now, this doesn't exactly look like this, but you could see, for example, the architecture that they're using. They're using very traditional looking architecture, whereas all this, of course, the cobblestone, the streets are the same, but now it's the buildings are slightly different. It's a little harder to see in this particular shot. I did accidentally zoom in a little far when I was sizing everything up for this presentation. But this is a gray building back here, actually. They're just on a slightly lower level. But this is the top of the building here. So the architecture has started to shift, but you have the stylistic influences on the ground level that still exist. And also, you can see some similarities with, for example, the coats here. However, well, you may or may not be able to see that. And the white undercoat here. You see these pieces that cover the white bits underneath. You still got that going on here. So some similar styling trends, just maybe the patterns are different. And basically, this is the case with, honestly, all of media. Because with Squid Game, from earlier, you basically, that story I was trying to tell could be told anywhere, honestly. Could be told anywhere. And this fusion creates content that feels both familiar and exotic to the public, which is what they're trying to basically do here. This makes it accessible to audiences worldwide, whether it be exploring various themes that are distinctly Korean, or trying to infuse it with non-Korean elements, like I mentioned before. But Hallyu has transformed South Korea's global image. Here's a better clean shot. So you can see the top of the building here and the bridge here. Okay. So here's another graph. Here's another graph. Source. Right there, okay. South Korea's transformed international image. K-pop artists performing at global events, like I showed you earlier. Government's use of Hallyu for diplomatic influence, like I've explained and showed you earlier. Here's another figure of the annual number of Hallyu communities now broken down by region rather than worldwide, like I showed you before. This graph goes from 2012 to 2021. But one of the Hallyu has transformed basically South Korea's overall global image. Basically positioning it as a cultural powerhouse with all the avenues and all the new communities that kind of arise every year. All the events that they perform, whether it be like the Grammys or collaborating with international artists outside of Korea. South Korea's government actively promotes Hallyu and its elements as a form of soft power to enhance cultural diplomacy. For instance, BTS performed at the Korean-France Friendship Concert in Paris during President Moon Jae-in's state visit. I butchered that name. I definitely butchered that name. Highlighting how the government leverages Hallyu to strengthen diplomatic ties. So let's look into that a little bit farther, because you saw earlier BTS went to the UN. Well, now that was global. Now you gotta be targeted. Now you gotta be specific. Okay. So how do we get into that? I'm not gonna show you the whole thing because this is like 9 minutes long, and we're running out of time here. Yes, we are running out of time. Only a couple minutes left on this roll, and then I gotta switch over to the next one. So we're just gonna show a few seconds of this.
저희가 이 먼 파리에서 야구계의 울림이라는 뜻깊은 행사에
They have translators. Don't worry. They had translators there in case you didn't speak Korean.
이곳 파리에서도 며칠 후에 저희의 콘서트가 예정이 되어 있습니다. 네, 그리고
And you can see they're altering their schedule and conveniently lining things up so that they can be there to perform multiple things at the same time.
네, 이곳 파리에서도 콘서트가 있을 예정이니 앞으로도 많은 성원 부탁드리겠습니다. 감사합니다.
And this is in front of a crowd of French and Korean and more international audiences. But now they're looking a little bit more professional because they're trying to appeal to France's ideals, which are not as outward going. So now they're in tight business suits and they don't have the bright colored hair. But they're still showing their moves and still trying to show what it is that Korea wants to show to the world, specifically France in this case. And the crowd goes mild. But there are some controversies and challenges to Hallyu. Okay, I'm going to switch over the roll here, so there's going to be a slight cut. We're back with controversies and challenges after the slight cut. Switched over the roll. What are some of the controversies and challenges about Hallyu? Okay. Some have claimed it is very exploitative of the artists and very demanding on their schedules. It's perceived cultural imperialism in neighboring countries. Backlash has occurred during diplomatic solutions. Just making sure the roll is still running. We're good to go. Now, while Hallyu has gained worldwide admiration for its various qualities and disseminating their ideals, you know, the upbeat nature of it and all that, some critics argue that the Korean government and their heavy involvement and promotion of their culture around the world can lead to these things here. For example, there are concerns about being perceived, this act, the Hallyu, being perceived as a form of cultural imperialism in neighboring countries, especially when diplomatic tensions arise. So, for example, historically speaking, not every single country in this region of the world, this is Korea here, this is Japan here, particularly likes each other because some countries might have invaded other countries in the past. And they believe that Hallyu is kind of like their way of co-opting the other country's culture and assimilating them into a more like-minded mindset. But when you think of it this way, you wouldn't want, or you wouldn't like to be anything like the people that you dislike, if that makes sense. see where some of the tensions might arise. For example, Korean content was boycotted in Japan. And again, for those of you uncultured swines, like super uncultured, like person on the street, name me 3 countries that start with the letter K, and you name Venezuela, stupid levels of people. This is South Korea, okay? Their official name is not South Korea, it's Republic of Korea. For example, Korean content was boycotted in Japan in the not too recent past, following territorial disputes over the Dakota Islands. I have provided a helpful map here. So you can see this is Korea, this is Japan, this is what you're working with, geographics. You got the Oki Islands here, the Ulung Island, and the Lioncourt Rocks. This right here goes by a couple names. This particular map labels it this. I've seen other maps label it this, but it is otherwise known as the Dakota Islands, according to my Dokdo. I just realized there's only 2 O's in here. It's probably more like Dokdo. Anyways, I saw these rocks here referred to as Lioncourt Rocks. Apparently the Dokdo Islands are also like right here, but it's all right here. So you can see it's a little bit closer to Korea. Just draw a line right in the middle. It's a smidge closer to Korea, but it's basically in the middle. And you have islands that are at basically those quarter marks right here. This being Korea, this being Japan. So you divide it into quarters, and you'd be like, well, who gets the middle one, right? Or Korea thinks it's theirs, Japan thinks it's theirs. They've had a little bit of a skirmish, and with what I just mentioned, plus the dispute, or what I mentioned involving the co-opting assimilation stuff, plus the dispute, that's how you get the banning of Korean content in Japan. For some. And circling back to the overworking, this here is a BBC article. There's the link, if you can read that. Says here, are K-pop stars workers? South Korea says no. And this here is by Fan Wan. I'll probably butcher that name. Fan Wan. From the BBC. This was back in... Well, it's December now. So like 2 weeks ago. This is a very recent article. The date's very small and blurry. But basically, this article, you can, again, here's the link so you can read into it a little bit more, but it kind of goes into this bullet point up here about all of the alleged exploitative acts. Because when you think about it, you're essentially forcing private citizens, because even though they're famous, they are private citizens, to do a government's bidding. Not everybody's on board with that. And so you can see some of the controversies that might arise from that. You know? So, yeah. But, next slide. Transitions. Pink text this time. I didn't even point out the fact that, oh wait, hold on a second. Oh wait, I just realized the text font's different. Well, I guess it didn't transfer over to this Final Cut. Okay, anyways. I was going to mention something about the font, but I guess not anymore. Okay, cultural impact beyond entertainment, particularly cuisine and beauty. I mentioned the beauty products and the ads. So these two brands right here. This is Innisfree, and this is Laneige. I don't know how to properly pronounce them. These are two fairly common beauty brands. This ad is in Korean. This ad I pulled off of, it was the website of, it wasn't the website of Laneige. It was the website of an American beauty cosmetics store. I'm blanking on which website I pulled this image off of. But anyways, point being, but they're a Korean brand as well. But both can be bought in Korea, obviously, or South Korea, obviously, not North Korea, South Korea, obviously, and America. A lot of cross-pollination there, especially with the beauty standards that I mentioned previously. And the influence of Hallyu has extended to the point that basically you can't turn left or right without running into something Korean. I mean, take this right here. This is Bella Bottega Shopping Center in Redmond, Washington. For those that are wondering why I picked this shopping center, well, it's because I'm from here. Well, not here specifically, because this is a shopping center. There's no homes right here, but in the area. So I'm very familiar with the shopping center, and this is a Korean barbecue restaurant on the north side of the shopping center, 8976 161st Avenue, Northeast, Redmond, Washington, 98052. Good food, give them your business. If you're in Redmond, Washington, or if you know somebody in the area, and you want good Korean barbecue, go to them. They've got the stuff like the hot pots. They've got the grills built into the tables. They've got an all-you-can-eat bar. They've got dishes that you can order just normally. Just be aware that their steaks are very pricey. We're talking triple-digit pricey. So maybe don't get a whole steak, but otherwise, give them your business. Anyways, I wanted to use that as an example because the influence of Hallyu extends beyond entertainment to Korean cuisine such as kimchi and Korean barbecue. And you can see there's the QFC right here. For those of you who, for some whatever reason, don't know what QFC is, Kroger. If you don't know what Kroger is, American grocery store. Okay? American grocery store. Every American grocery store nowadays has an international section. What is in that international section? Kimchi. Remember what I said before? You can't turn left or right without seeing something Korean. If you stand right here on the sidewalk, there's trees right here. So you're gonna have to stand on the sidewalk, probably more like here, so you got a good shot of the QFC. But if you stand right here, you turn left, QFC. You look physically, X-ray vision through the wall over here, kimchi. You turn to your right, 180. What do you see? Korean barbecue restaurant. I'm telling you. Oh, also, you got a hot pot here, too. I've been there as well, obviously. I'm into all the places here. Good hot pot. Anyways. So, the foreign cuisine... Oh, I gotta switch over to the next side of my little thing I was going to use here. These beauty and foreign cuisines have gained international popularity. These cultural exports contribute significantly to South Korea's economy and global image. I mean, you see this, and you see this, and you see, well, you taste that, and you're going to go, Korea's the best country on earth, or something. And that's what they're trying to do. That's the purpose of a soft power strategy, to make you think that by seeing a happy... She might not be happy. That might be a dead inside smile. A smile That doesn't look like a dead inside smile. Seeing a smile, tasting the good food, meeting the good business owners, the good business people, and making you think positively about them. Now, some, such as those in Japan, might say, we can't have this. Cannot have this. And some might say it's a good thing. Even those outside of Korea, because, hey, South Korea, great country, amazing country, beautiful country. I would love to visit South Korea at some point, myself. Never been, but I would love to one day. And they have contributed significantly to the world, not just this contributing to their own economy, but they've contributed to the world beyond just this. So there are reasons, there are positives, and hey, it was a very, very good, very beautiful thing what they did the other week. Making sure that coup didn't fly. And so, even though some might say coercion is not the way to go, you shouldn't be influencing foreign countries other than your own with your psyops. Well, every country does it. If you're complaining about it, take it up with your local senator. I mean, every country does it. And they're actually a good country, okay? Good people, good food, mostly good government. Let's see. Was that 5 days ago? If there's any evidence, mostly good government. The products, I haven't used these two, so I can't comment on these two specifically. But the Korean beauty products, pretty top notch, top of the industry. Like 90-something% good. Okay, and you can say that about a lot of democratic countries, can't you? This is no different. So what's next for Hallyu? Oh, here's a clean shot of everything without the text in the middle. The future of Hallyu. Well, they expand to more avenues, okay? Emerging trends, virtual influencers, VTubers as they're called, webtoons, kind of like motion comic cartoon thing. I'm not a webtoon expert. I just don't with that. Whatever. Not my thing. And esports. For those that are maybe not hip with the kids, okay. The video game industry makes more money than any other entertainment sector. And some people are just so cracked. They're so good that they form teams and they get paid. Okay, so and now they're fielding professional teams. So with the rise of digital platforms, we can expect even more of all this to go on. The continued evolution of their cultural products, increasing innovation in digital platforms. For example, stuff that have already gained traction worldwide, amp up the dial, turn it up. This stuff, see if people are going to be interested in this. If this takes off, worldwide. They're going to be Mr. Worldwide. They're going to channel their inner people. They're going to be Mr. Worldwide. I don't know about the webtoons, but the VTubers are pretty popular. And esports is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Multi-million-dollar industry. The esports is actually, truth be told, losing more money than it's gaining. So the long-term viability is still in question. So multi-million-dollar industry and whatnot. And then, of course, that cross-pollination, okay? South Korea's ability to adapt and evolve its cultural South Korea's ability to adapt and evolve its cultural products will likely ensure Hallyu remains a dominant force in global pop culture. I mean, again, you literally have Korean media integrating with Western media. You have this. This is an album cover from that second music video I showed you with Stray Kids and Deadpool and Wolverine. This is another one of their tracks. Apparently, this was in Deadpool and Wolverine. They made this one and the other one. I saw the movie. I couldn't tell you where it was. I think there was like one scene, maybe when they're coming out of the van, where maybe it played. Maybe it played during the cuts. Honestly, my personal opinion, it was quite forgettable song. I saw the movie twice in theaters, like 2 weeks apart, and I still couldn't pick out. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, if they do all this, they'll ensure that it becomes a dominant force for eons, for the rest of humanity. They will become part of Starfleet Command. Conclusion! Hallyu is a cultural movement reshaping global perceptions of South Korea, okay? Success lies in blending tradition with modernity. Adapt or die, as they say, okay? Hallyu is more than just entertainment. It is a cultural movement that has reshaped global perceptions of South Korea. When they blend tradition and modernity, creating content that resonates with audiences worldwide, they will become more successful in their soft power strategy. And of course, just to kind of wrap things up and just to show more of that cross-pollination, hammer that in, I pulled this off a beauty website. This is this Sephora? Did I pull this up? I'm recording this like 3-4 days after I've actually finished making the presentation. I'd have to go back and look in my files when I was labeling each image which website I got it off of. Okay, you gotta forgive me, but I'm pretty sure that might have been Sephora. I definitely went on Sephora at least once. Don't expect me to ever do it again. I'm just not into skincare. I'm sorry. But yeah, just to hammer in the point, that is an American Beauty website. That is another K-pop boy band. I believe that's Stray Kids. One of these is definitely somebody's, there are jokes to be. There is definitely one individual out there who likes these boy bands that I've shown you today. And I know they're looking at this image going, I want to marry all of them. I know that person's watching. I'm calling you out. Anyways, so I showed you that. And also another K-drama. I've actually seen this one before. I just pulled the DVD cover off. It actually goes by like 3 different names, depending on what market you're in. So in this particular market, it's called Goblin, the Lonely and Great God. In some markets, it's just called Goblin. In some markets, it's just called The Lonely and Great God. And in other markets, it's called it's some other random name. That's not any of these words. I can't remember. I always knew it as Goblin, but And I also watched it in both Korean and Mandarin. Yes. Fun fact, it's quite popular in Taiwan. A lot of reruns. Let me tell you. I saw a good number of episodes of this show during my time in Taiwan. So I just wanted to promote the show real quick. You'll recognize that actor. He's in Squid Games. So, yeah, also he was in Train to Busan. He was the father in that. I actually knew him from this first, before all that stuff. Oh, and on a side note, in case you're wondering why I'm presenting this way, well, the laptop didn't want to do the built-in PowerPoint recording feature, so I had to do this. But the PowerPoint on my desktop here wasn't updated, so I had to update it. But even when I got that working, the desktop doesn't have a built-in mic. It's a desktop, so this is the solution. Okay, deal with it. Anyways, respectfully. Okay, respectfully. It's past midnight. Okay, respectfully. Anyways, you can go back to the presentation. Watch this video recording back a little bit further. But basically, thank you for listening. And I hope this presentation has given you a deeper meaning of the Korean wave. The Korean wave, also known as Hallyu. Phasing. Thank you. Have a nice day. Live long and prosper. And all that jazz. Also additional sources if you're interested. These are PDF documents that you can find online, so that's why they're Chrome extensions. Because I just went into the search bar, copy pasted the link. But there you go. There's the links. All sources are listed either right here or in the slides themselves. So there you go. Anyways, thank you. Have a nice day. That is end of slideshow, and I will be clicking to exit. But first I gotta click that camera off. Oh, my knees. I could have just used a chair, I guess, because I do have a chair that sits like 2 inches off the ground. But you know, I wanted to be animated and give you guys a show. So there you go. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, or else your stomach won't be able to handle the spice of the Korean instant noodles, the buldak, especially if you're from Denmark. Did you know that Denmark has banned Korean instant noodles because they believe it will poison consumers due to how spicy it is? Only country in the world to do that. They're not helping stereotypes with that one, are they? No. Yeah. They say white people can't handle spice beyond salt and pepper. I think it's true in Denmark. Anyways, have a nice day. And eat lots of spicy noodles. Don't be Denmark.